Amun. Let me explain something to you. I'm Chocolate Amun Ra. This is the second class, and class is started now based on the title, Why Do Black People Hate Each Other? Going over a few things in the beginning, showed you some videos, showed you Brother Polite and his opinions, showed you some documentary, showed you from the beginning. The first one was a clip from the movie when a neo-Nazi was telling the black guy, you kill your own people. And my whole concept is why we do it, or why they do it, and why we get so angry at each other. But we could just bypass everybody else. But when it comes to each other, life has to be taken. Before we get involved in the second part, let me explain to you just in case, excuse me, just in case if you didn't see the first one. I'm not your minister. I'm not your preacher. I'm not your reverend. I'm not your deacon. I'm not your archaeologist. I'm not your astronomer. I'm not your scientist. I'm not your mathematician. I am not none of these things. But I am your messenger. Understand me clearly. My opinions, my research on the daily things that I do in my life. I don't ask for no views. I don't want no views. You ain't got to follow me. I say this over and over time. This is my journey. But the knowledge is for free. And every day is a learning lesson. And remember, I'm a student for life. So, let's get into it. The ISIS Papers. The ISIS Papers of Dr. Frances Cress Wellington. She passed on. I don't know if some of y'all ever watched some of her videos. I'm going to show you some videos. We're also going to read her book a little bit. Just little pieces. We want to discover why do black people hurt each other. They hate each other's guts. We have to find out this phenomenon. It ain't a new phenomenon. It's an old phenomenon. When I left off and showed you black people had their own slaves, black people were the ones who started it. But then I wanted to get into my opinion and do your research, like me. You see, because we have a tendency to sweep things underneath the rug on a constant basis and act like they have not appeared or have not exist. This is a terrible mistake. Terrible. When I showed you and I spoke to you about the slaves, but here in modern time, over 200 million slaves today, but not just in Africa. You got in Russia, you got in Thailand, even here in America, and of course, you know, Africa and China. But we're discussing black people, color codex. I only use the word black is because majority of you can identify the race that I'm talking about, or the culture. So, when we discover or understand that black people in Africa the different nations did not have welcoming parties with each other. They might have traded, and also remember this, the number one commodity was human cargo. Human cargo, understand this. I'm gonna show you in the video, but human cargo. Black people use this because it was a resource. It was financially power. Some nations didn't have that many people, so they need workers to help build their nations. So what you think they did? If I had tons of gold and gold to spare, but you had the manpower, so what we did? Now the reason why I mention and bring these things up and go back in ancient times is because it's in our DNA. You got all these nations in Africa, all these different nations. But let's keep it honest. When you go back in ancient times, they was at war with each other. They was at war. Evidence is in your Bible. Evidence is when you get these books and you read it and you cross-reference. There's documents stating that they hated each other. Understand. Not all nations, but majority of them did not get along. Why you had 13 nations in Africa who started the slave trade, who helped out and benefit and got rich. When are we gonna stop playing games? Even when I showed you the clip, when the brother showed the other brother that his great-great-grandfather, or cousin, wanted to him for sure, was a slave when he got captured. He wasn't like he was shocked that another black person took his family member. Did you see his reaction? I don't understand that reaction. I'm gonna be honest with you. Are you afraid to dislike your peoples? Are you afraid to be mad at them? Are you afraid to disagree with them? Yeah, history is history. The truth is the truth. Black people got problems because it always has been. They always had. With you killing each other like this, and a mass of constructive behavior towards each other and hating each other sounds like slavery. When the field nigga couldn't stand the house nigga. The house nigga had better privilege, so he was not going to give that up for the field nigga. So hatred began to develop. And even when the master put and separated the two and say, now you work in the house, you ain't like those field niggas. And don't be like that. You live special here in the house. Psychological warfare. Psychological warfare. We must never forget that. And this is why, using that word psychological warfare, I will be reading from the ISIS papers. I'm reading a passage here in the ISIS papers, and I hope you write this book, write it down and get this book. It's by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. She's passed on, but I know a lot of you remember her in Hidden Colors, which I'm going to show you after I read this passage. The new wall are being built as psychiatrists attempt to deal with issues of racism, homosexuality, and the situation of women. These are all issues which have confronted us in our practice, challenge the morals, assumptions that is lie concealed in our theories, and confronted us with dispute and argument. In our association, it is not accident that each issue invites psycho-character to take a stand on human value. Human values are a crucial link in the chain that binds the self to society. To take a stand on them reveals something about your own self or our own relations to society and our own visions of what it means to love and to work. Many psychocharacterists believe that the APA should limit itself to issues that are clearly psychocharacteristic, but many others believe that these social issues are clearly psychocharacteristic. I shall claim that what separates these two groups can only be understood as part of the deep theoretical dilemma in which American psychocharacteristic finds itself. It's of lack of conceptual clarity. This theoretical ambiguity is the core of the conflict that confronts psychocharactery as pragmatic electronics, uncertain that we have put the pieces of the picture together correctly. We can never become confident that we can distinguish between the sick patient and the sick society. The sick patient and the sick society. Psychocharacter contribution to what it means to be a person in most powerful aspect. That contribution cannot be under psychocharacter control in a free society. However, the profession has a responsibility for the hidden value in its theories and its therapies, which contribute to the shaping of contemporary consciousness. It is in the issue surrounding the subject of women that perhaps the most convincing attack on the hidden value in the psychocharacter has been made. Dr. Stone continues this discussion, asking if these issues cut deeper into America's psychocharacter than racism and homosexuality. Now, we're dealing with the people's behavior on a deeper level. On the deeper level. ISIS papers, right? You get that, you better find it. You're dealing with on a deeper level, a mind game. But now I want to go straight to a video. Now, have any one of you have begun to understand the behavior of our people? Why our people hate each other? Have you slowly begin to break down the walls and beginning to say, you know what? I'm beginning to understand. This goes back in time. This is history. And remember, the things that happen to us, you got to take responsibility. The things that, imagine you looking at another person who similar looks like you, put you in a chain around your neck, tie your hands up, and drag you off. Now you're looking at it as this is war, because war, they took slaves in war. They captured the people in war, and they put them to work, or they sold you. But what if it was a war, and because they needed resources, they need a certain amount of people for their quota, This is where they went to the other villages, the other nations, and did what they did. Now, mind you, as a slave, imagine for a split second, you was captured. Your life was wonderful. Your life was enriched. And you was captured. You lose everything as a human being. You're being tortured. You're being brutalized. Let's don't be fooled. We know these things happened. So these things happen, and your whole entire psychic changes. What did we do? And then you have a child that's born in these conditions. That child has a child or children that's born in these conditions. And then from these conditions, they ripped from their mother's hands. They ripped from their grandfather's hands. They ripped from their grandmother's hands and sold and never seen again. Psychologically, that will do more damage to a human being than probably even whipping him and putting him to death. So now, imagine dealing with that. You got to deal with another black person who's captured, who's enslaved just like you, are now beating you with a whoop. Let's think about this. Bullwhip days. The slave remember. Huh? You got your pencil and papers? Well, we're going to talk about this in part 3. Because, see, we got to break down why we hate each other. What you getting mad about? I'm going to tell you a quick story that happened at 3 o'clock this morning. I was on Facebook, and one of the guys put up, what does the word Anunnaki means? So I happened to go on this page, and I told him it's not in the dictionary, it's not in the book of Enoch, and it's not in the Bible, and I told him the word Anunnaki means bloodline, royal bloodline. But I Googled it up and found out. Now, I was kind of shocked that Anunnaki was not in the dictionary. So he was trying to say that he was like a descendant. Now, I'm not saying he wasn't or not. So I told him, I stated to him that, understand this, in the last 50 years, the Anunnaki civilization is dealing with Sumerian. Please write this down. The Anunnaki, if you don't know how to spell it, A-N-U-N-N-A-K-I. Anunnaki. Sumerian. The Anunnaki that comes in the territory of Sumerians. Now, when you do your research, you're going to find these two out. Now, I was trying to tell him that 50 years ago, none of these archaeologists wasn't talking about the Anunnaki. Nobody was talking about the Anunnaki. They barely was talking about Kemetic. They barely was talking about the ancient Babylons, the ancient Sumerians, the ancient Kemetic, what you call Egyptians. They barely was talking about this 50 years ago. So now, 50 years passed by, and now all of a sudden we discovered texts and tablets on the Anunnaki. 50 years passed by all of a sudden, but what about the Mayans? So this is what I told him. He gonna tell me, listen, he understands that, but now they know. So I said, no, you don't know anything. I said, let's use logic and common sense. He gonna tell me, oh, you need to calm down. I told him, no, you need to have respect. Because I'm just explaining something to you. I'm explaining something to you. That all you doing is regurgitating someone else's work. You did not pilgrimage to Africa and went to where Sumerians at, where they assumed they could be. You did not do any research. Only research you're doing is from the Google on the internet. Possibility you might have books. And now all of a sudden, you think that now you have found the answer. No. The brother said I was insulting him. I said, how am I insulting you? I have not come on your page and be disrespectful for whatever. Now, the reason why I'm telling the story is to tell you this. This is what a lot of conscious people are now doing. The minute they see something new, they believe automatically this is the beginning of ancient civilization. No. You don't know the answer because you're regurgitating off for someone else's work. So what I did was, I said, I apologize if you thought I said anything negative, and you do good work. But I knew that what he was doing, it was weak. And he couldn't comprehend on the level of frequency that I was on. But I was not going to shy him away and start no problem. Because if you do that, we're not learning anything. So I humbled myself even deeper. And I said, thank you very much. I appreciate what you put out. All I did was come humbly. And I wanted to learn. And I assumed that you and I could exchange and talk with logic and collaborate on many different concepts. So now he slows down, but to me now it's too late, because when a person inject themselves into that type of behavior quickly, they're not humble. And the reason why I use this illustration is because we run into this type of situation all the time. Once again, why do black people so angry? Why do you hate so quickly? Why you act like you have to defend for something that doesn't even belong to you? You're just reading and watching videos and doing a little research that don't belong to you. Common sense. Let me get into the video of Dr. Francis Quest Wellington. Get ready.
We are developing epidemic levels of the effeminization of young black males. Well, I say the pants sagging down is just a subconscious invitation for homosexuality. You see, it's revealing the buttocks. See, so the pants are getting lower and lower and lower. The next step is to step out of the pants altogether. And so you step out of the pants, you're going to put on a dress. The black men are destroyed. Then the black people are gone. And we have a state of genocide. You know, in the late civil rights era, a parent had brought a child in. And saying, you know, these male children, it's always the principal, the teacher says he's smart, but he won't study. And so I said to this little 10-year-old, sweetheart, don't you want to work hard in school so you can help black people? And the little boy very innocently said no. And I said, why not, sweetheart? He said, because if you try to help black people, you will be killed. And he said Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, George Jackson. You see, now I'm thinking IQ 265, brilliant child. You see, who had observed what actually takes place and goes on in the society. You see, and it's just like Semites of the Jewish religion were not standing up. Sigmund Freud did not stand up and talk about anti-Semitism. They were hoping to become assimilated, and they did not want to be in the position of accusing the people who had historically mistreated them. They didn't want to talk about it. Freud talked about sex repression. He should have been talking about the repression of Semites. You see, but the word Semite means mulatto. Half black, half white, mixed race. And they wanted to be accepted as Germans. It's just like black people wanting to be accepted as Americans. And so if Americans are made, American translate whites, are being made uncomfortable with the discussion about racism, then we won't talk about it.
All right, now. I hope you enjoyed that clip. That was the Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the famous doctor. I mean, she put in work. She gave her life to what she believed in her black people. But once again, showing different clips and showing you why do black people hate each other. I'm giving you different doctors, scholars, reading some of these books to try to dissolve this, to try to find the answer. And so far, from slavery to here in America, fear is a big, big issue. Fear lives among a lot of our people. But it's just not just fear. Why is it so easy for you to attack your own people? I mean, you're not blood related. We know this. We're talking in the black nation. Why is it so easy for you to attack and destroy? Psychological warfare. And Dr. Frances Cress Welsing proved the point. Talked to a young man and stated, why don't you stay in school and do your work and help your own black people? He said, oh no, don't help no black people because you're gonna wind up dead. Is that possible could be the case? This is why a lot of black people don't want to help each other, because we can show video and show a lot of videos how black people sit there and videotape each other, getting beatings, even death. I see you in part 3. Oh, this is good. Oh, this is good.